Make that big boss less special. It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level. Second level. Second level gaming. Second level.
Hello, Internet, and welcome back, or welcome to episode 36. You can't come back to an episode you haven't watched yet.
That's true.
But welcome back to the podcast if you're back. If you're new, welcome. Episode 36, the official Level 2 podcast. My name's Keegan. I'm one half of Level 2 Gamers. Hanging out with Tom, the second half of Level 2 Gamers. Yeah, if you weren't here, it'd be weird. You've done one, though, without me, so that's
It was weird, though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
because
like,
there's so much dead air when you're not here.
Because I talk a lot.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what this podcast is, it's basically where we pull the curtains behind who we are. We get a little bit more into who we are. We start at the beginning. I have a segment that I talk about some topic I want to talk about. We play a game in the middle or some sort of fun, quirky segment you can join along with. And then you do Tom's Tales at the end, which is your topic of conversation.
Indeed.
Did you get all that? I said that real quick.
It's our meta podcast.
Yeah.
It's basically like, so this podcast is about being a couple guys that make a YouTube channel and have lives. That's basically what it is. Like, we try and make it fun with the game, but essentially, like, to break it down, like, we have actual podcasts on actual topics. This is not a topic-based podcast, other than the fact that we're talking about...
We have a topic we choose.
Which is mostly
whatever we
us.
want.
Yeah, and what we want to talk about.
So topic number one, Keegan's Corner.
Go for it.
So I had a topic in mind, and then something crazy happened the other day. We hit 1,000 subscribers.
Sure, fucking
on YouTube. So thank you guys so much. Really do appreciate it. One of the things I have said from the get-go is, to me, and you can vouch because I've said it off camera as much as I have on camera, subscriber count doesn't mean a lot to me as much as community does. But it is nice to hit these goals. So when we started out, it was January 31st, 2015, because I screwed that up in the panel, was the Try to Kill a Crab video, 2005.
I thought it was February 5th.
No, February 5th was the first official video.
Oh, okay.
The teaser video went up January 31st because that's the day I made the account.
I defer to you.
Yeah, that's dangerous. But it's been basically 2.5 years, and it's been a lot of changes. A lot of things have happened, and I do want to say from the bottom of our hearts, thank you guys so much for being with us from day one. The guys like Blue that have been there since under 100, to Ali, to DeGrotto, a.k.a. James, Cody, David. Who else we got? And I'm missing a lot of people. There's been a lot of people. Amy, Geek Etiquette, Tube and Monkey, anybody I talk to in Gamers of YouTube, anybody I've talked to on Kind of Funny, anybody who's just kind of giving us the time of day. Yeah. Anybody listening on a podcast. Thank you. Japan. That was kind of a whim thing. But thank you guys so much. Do you have anything you want to say? Because I have something planned for this segment. But I'm going to let you get your words out here.
Sure. So
I do what I want to do.
So, like you said, that the subscriber count is not necessarily the be-all and end-all of a YouTuber, but it is to an extent validation that you're doing something right, because you can have 1,000 subscribers. That does not mean you're going to get 1,000 views on every video that you put out, as much as a lot of people think that's what it means.
I would love that.
We get anywhere still from like 8 views to
we just had one past 1,100
views. So it's really up and down as far as like stuff that actually gets watched and stuff that doesn't. But the fact that we're hitting a number which we've coveted for a little while, just as being kind of a threshold for us to pass over. Like, we were like, okay, once we get to that point, hopefully we're in a good rhythm, things are going well. You tend to show up, I think, a little bit better in some areas, but or you did at the time that we were aiming for it. But now a lot of that's kind of switched over to engagement in terms of like comments and liking and things like that. But like you said, the subs are nice, but what's even nicer is when people actually post comments on the video
and responding to those.
And
I think it's funny because I told you back in the day, like, that's my favorite part, and we never really got any. And you're just like, I don't think you understood how cool of a feeling both personally, when it comes to just like somebody's watching our shit and actually took the time to respond to it, but also having those, like you said, those conversations back and forth of like, this is not a one-way street. I feel like a lot of times we, as content creators, are presenting you information and showcasing our skills to you.
We are, but we also want your opinion.
But we also want it back. It's a two-way street. We're not just here to say, hey, we're the greatest YouTubers in the world, because that's far from the truth. So, yeah.
We've had a lot of
changes.
A lot of changes, a lot of ups and downs, a lot of good times and bad times, but overall, We're still in the basement. We're still making videos, and you guys are still watching them and watching them more now than you ever have before.
And I think we're probably the happiest we've been in a long time with the channel. And that's not numbers based, that's just content based.
Content based, making these particular videos the way that we make them, adding the additional stuff the way we've been adding the additional stuff. We're all very proud of it. And we have a lot of people that helped us to get to
I'm gonna pull the curtain back, as we, like I said, we do on the show.
Go for it.
There was a time there when we were recording, I think it's when we first started the VR stuff, where we were recording the podcast and the gameplay and all that on the same day, and we almost killed ourselves. Like, you got to the point where, like, I would be here till 7, 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And it's just like, we can't do this, and we have to figure out what's going on. And it wasn't more of, like, the content was doing all right. It wasn't doing bad, and those formats have relatively stayed the same with a few tweaks. But it got to the point where we record everything in one day. We record on Tuesdays. That's our day to record everything. And not that I don't like hanging out with you until 7, 8 o'clock at night, but I feel weird when your wife gets home and I'm still here, and it's like, well, interrupting Tom time.
That's okay.
Let's hang out with his family. But, like, it's, I don't know, it's we have a way better balance of, they call it the work-life balance, but that's essentially what it is. Like, I will always,
life balance.
Yeah, I always will go on, and you're really good with trailers. Whenever somebody posts a trailer, we get a trailer, you're like, put this shit up. I'm really good at looking at analytics, seeing what's going well, what's not going well. We just found out Limelight is still one of our #1 videos for some weird reason. Yeah. So that being said, I've got something special that you have no idea what I'm about to do.
I rarely do.
I want to go back and watch some of our videos. I've pulled them up here. I'm going to have this video. I'm actually recording. You don't know, but I'm recording your screen right now to put behind us so they can see what we're about to watch and get our reactions to them.
Okay.
So, first video we're going to play is going to be Stranded Deep Part 1. R.I.P. Trolleys / Base Camp. You remember this one?
I do.
Do you want to set the scene for them?
Sure. So, the first game that we decided to record, we had to pick one, and we wanted to go for an indie game that was slightly popular but not too popular. And the one that we chose was a game called Stranded Deep because it looked really interesting. It had crafting elements, and it was easy for us to get into. Now, it's still fucking in alpha development right now, so clearly there's been a lot of time that has passed since then, and we did come back and play it again, actually, for 100 subscribers special, or 500 maybe.
No, it was the 1 year.
It's the 1 year?
1 year anniversary.
But yeah, so this is me and you at your apartment rather than here, with a table in front of us, an iMac
fold-out table.
A fold-out table in front of us, and an iMac.
2 USB mics.
2 USB mics and headsets.
Do you remember how the audio?
Do we have headsets?
No. Do you remember how we recorded the audio?
We did QuickTime, didn't we?
No, I turned the iMac speakers up real loud and it played through the microphones.
Yeah, so
that's how we got started.
That's how we
That is literally episode 1. Yeah. So I'm going to watch some of this. You guys want people to hear the audio? We will, just so you can hear our reactions over top of it. I might turn it up a little bit so they can hear it.
Okay.
But, you ready for this, Tom?
Sure.
Hey guys, what's up? Level 2 Gaming here. This is our first ever video. My name is Keegan. I'm one of the co-founders. I got the other guy with me here.
This is when I had a weird voice, isn't it?
What's your name? What's your name? Off to a good start.
I am the other co-founder, I guess. Yeah.
I think you are. We are so awkward.
Yeah. And it's really nice to be out here starting our first game with Level 2.
Your voice is normal here. Wait till we get in.
It's when I'm playing the game, I put on this like weird announcer voice, which was not planned. It just kind of happened. Do some live recording while we're doing it, so that's what we're gonna do.
We're just gonna play
we're
some
on the
games.
menu screen for like 10 years. Skip forward.
So
I'm already bored.
I thought we were still on the menu there, but it's loading. Let's see here.
Yeah, but you can't see much.
We're about to get in Plane Crasher.
Too phased by all of the air being sucked out of his surroundings here.
No,
he's just kind of chilling. Just sat there.
And then he runs into the seat. He goes, "Oh shit."
What's weird is this thing got 155 views. Like, our first view series went really well.
I gotta find a way to escape, so let's go. And by the way, one of the things I do like about this game is you only have a certain amount of breath, like in real life. So if I'm underwater for too long...
Like in real life.
Wait for it.
A certain amount of breath in real life? I just keep going. I wasn't aware there was a limit.
You know what? I have a limit, apparently.
What do you think?
I called you out on it twice.
Yeah.
At least I'm consistent.
Yeah. We're going to fast forward here a little bit further. What do you think so far, though? Like, is this bringing back any sort of feelings?
It's not terrible, is it?
I mean, not. I'm kind of surprised. I expected it to be way worse.
So I wish one of my complaints, you can see here I can build something.
I mean, we've always had a good rapport.
Yeah.
and we've always been able to talk off the back of each other. I think a lot of the problems we had, and honestly, the audio doesn't sound terrible.
No.
A lot of the problems that we had were just based on we didn't necessarily have much of a plan. I mean, we kind of knew what we wanted to do, but then, like, one of our main problems we've always had is we're not great at video games. Yeah. So it's
so I don't think that we ever released the whale episode.
No, that was the most fun episode, and you never
still
released
have that
it.
somewhere on a hard drive. So next one, we have 2 for reviews, which were supposed to be a thing.
We did 1.
We have 1.
I've done more reviews. I just didn't call them 2 for reviews.
Yeah, because I didn't review it with you.
Yeah.
So this was basically each one of us was going to play a game.
Yeah.
Or we both were going to play the game and then we were going to review it together.
Well, there's footage playing. And we did Life is Strange.
Yeah. Episode 1.
Second level with me, Tom, and
me, Keegan.
Hi, Keegan.
Hey, Tommy.
So we're going to kick off a 2 for review, and a 2 for review is a 2 for 1.
I remember we were sitting on your couch, which is over there, by the way, and we were sitting on the couch with the Tascam, and I think I was laying down. You were laying on the seat next to me, and we were so, like, just to have the microphones just propped up, talking.
It was just a full-on relaxed conversation about the game. We just had, like, we had a few topic points to cover in terms of, like, gameplay, graphics, stuff like that, but mostly it was very similar to the scenario now, except we were more comfortable than we are with these seats and whatnot.
Yeah. It's on PS3 as well, in case you're wondering. That's our old font, by the way.
Yeah.
We're expecting a little more this generation, guys. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, they weren't horrible.
I got real mad about the hair physics.
Yeah.
Nothing to write home about.
And a lot of people get really obsessed in graphics, but for me personally, that's not the main.
Do you still agree with the statement?
When it comes to a game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say so. Most of my favorite games over the last couple of years have been not graphic monsters.
So 2 for reviews was a thing.
2 for reviews was a thing.
Another thing we had was Let's Go Retro, which, hold on, I'm going to rewind this.
Yeah, because you made this
This intro I made, and it took maybe like an hour and a half-ish. And I was so proud of it. And I think we used it for like 4 months because we're like, oh, we're going to do Let's Plays. This is when we're like, okay, we're all Let's Plays. We had Let's Plays, which were modern games. We had Let's Go Retro, which were older games. And then we had Party Play, I think was
Party Play was when we had someone come over and we did like a Mario
which I think we only did
something.
1 or 2 of those.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it was a plan. It just didn't work out necessarily.
So this is episode 5.
We are back in Donkey Kong Country. Yes, we are.
You're a little scared there.
I'm trying to figure what means.
Oh, I tried playing this, didn't
Yeah.
Can you go back through that hole? Some of those times, some of those you can. They have like 1-ups or whatever.
You never played Donkey Kong Country, did you? Before?
Not as a child. I mean, I played it like
I played it now.
A little tiny bit, but not really, yeah.
Also, the name of this episode is Barrel of Fun. I have to say, I'm not as cringy as I thought it would be. Like, I feel like
we've been alright, haven't we?
Yeah.
I think there's definitely some cringe-worthy moments that we've had and some bad decisions that we've made.
One of my favorite, I didn't find it, but one of my favorite moments is the Elder Scrolls glowy stick. I'll never live that one down.
Well, you should have thrown that the other way because then it'll kill this guy. Because you keep lying on him.
See, told you.
I think you learn from your mistakes.
Still giving me shit.
Still give you shit. That has not changed. So,
Nice.
Boom!
I think that was me.
Bro. I'm gonna die here though.
Yeah, that's me. I'm Donkey. You're Diddy.
Yeah.
This episode, we
Of course I'm dead already.
Aw.
Sports games in general, and kind of,
Yeah, we did. The problem with us with this sort of 2-player commentary stuff is that we were concentrating so hard on trying to play the game that the conversation was all over.
Oh, look, it's suggesting Donkey Kong Country if you want to watch more of them.
Oh, nice.
So that was Let's Go Retro. That was a series where we went through and played retro games. Party Play. We had 2 series, which was, I guess we had Let's Play Rocket or Let's Play Rocket. I didn't even say Rocket League. It's
Let's Play Rocket.
Let's Play Rocket.
Play Rocket. We did Mario Kart.
We did Mario Kart 64 and
Mario Party at some point.
We did double.
Well.
We did Double Dash. Yeah, Mario Party didn't add in here because it wasn't technically part of Party
We could
Play.
add that Mario Kart tournament to this, but
yeah,
I'd prefer.
But it's not part of Party Play because that's
true.
Party Play is dead. So which one do you want to watch? Which episode here?
Oh, I don't know. Give me one where I won a game.
The Perfect Blue Shell.
Sure.
Again, I expected this to be way more cringy than it is, but this made that as well.
Welcome back, guys, to Level 2 Gaming here.
I think I did the audio for that one.
Once again, playing the Mario Karts. We got Will, Keegan,
I forgot his name for a second.
Darka, and we are on.
This is the same layout I think I did for our Mario Kart tournament.
Yeah.
Like very similar. I did standings. Like I had a spreadsheet that I made and then changed the PDF and would update it here so I can show how cool we were.
Into Wario Stadium.
By the way, Red Bull, if
That's been a thing since the start of the channel.
Still trying to get that Red Bull sponsorship.
Yeah.
Oh, I should pay attention.
Yeah, you should.
It was definitely an interesting change in dynamic when Jordan joined.
Yeah.
And there's never, for 1 second, would I ever say that, you know, it wasn't interesting, to say the least. Jordan brought a lot of knowledge to the team. He brought a lot of games to the team. Like, if you think about it, like, our start in indie games was really just from Jordan playing a billion indie games. Not necessarily the type of games me and you would play, but he definitely brought a lot of them to the channel, which was interesting, and it helped us get our start with that type of stuff. You know, ultimately, that whole thing didn't work out, but it's he's happy, he's doing his thing. We're still happy, we're still doing our thing. But it was an interesting time in the history, I guess, of Level.
Another interesting time.
Oh, when we made you play Until Dawn.
Which one do we want to watch? Keegan can't literally even. Mike's Thirst is. These are definitely Jordan titles. Keegan just got monked. Yep, Keegan's still scared. Or Keegan's sad this isn't at an end.
I don't know. Do the Keegan literally can't even. It makes you sound like a white girl.
That intro, though. I was waiting to find one with that.
Same music, different intro.
I made that intro as well.
Oh, yeah, you did.
That animation. This is weird, because this is probably right on when Jordan joined, because I didn't change it, because it didn't have his face on it.
It took a minute.
Figure every time I climb it. Oh, yeah? That feels the same to me.
Did we have face cam for this? We had to have.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Oh, yeah, we did.
And we were in the
We
dark.
had the dark.
Because that was a genius idea.
Yeah.
Still playing.
I think I
mean,
argued that.
It was cool in the moment.
Yeah.
Because you were creeped out more. We just had those two torches on either side, like a
Torch is a flashlight.
campfire. The audio is awful on this one.
Yeah. This is when it got sketchy. I really like this game. Like, as much, if it wasn't scary, I would love this game. This play style of game is so good.
Should play more Telltale games, the non-scary.
I wish I
ones.
could remember where like a jump scare was. I should have done my homework beforehand, but I literally had this idea.
It's okay.
Doing it now.
It's one of those things where, like,
This is the first time I think we literally heard you like actually scream.
Yeah.
but I'm not at the same time.
And like duck away from the camera.
There was one where I think I ended up in Jordan's lap. I was terrified. I was like,
Yeah.
nope.
Why I enjoy it is like, you know, you really can't.
Yeah, this audio is real bad.
Yeah. I don't think they were all like this. I think that we had a couple episodes that were just had bad audio for whatever reason.
And then another one we had was Bargain Basement, which is more recent. So let's do the Switch launch.
Sure.
Bargain Basement number 2.
That's where we tried to save used monies.
That's about right.
Computer. Is that what happened?
You definitely edited this.
With your wang on the way back?
I mean, do that. Your chair. You can like.
I'd rather. Oh, great. So I had their ass spread all over my chair too.
That's when we started sitting here.
Yeah.
So we were sitting here. That was right over here where I, because you have a desk here and you had a chair. We decided to get smart and move it out of the way when we recorded. Well, I don't know why we didn't do it sooner, but we didn't. New intro. Look at that beard.
Your hair is really long there too.
Yeah, I just got hair all the way around.
I'm great, man. I'm
So when my face was covered, when I did this a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so we switched them.
As we always do, let's go ahead and
We made you use a pop filter, and I wasn't using one at the time.
Yeah.
What you got? What happened?
So the majority of this news is going to be Switch based.
Dude, my hair is real long.
You look like a lumberjack.
First thing I've got is Amazon
Lumbersexual.
Switch shipping delays. I'm going to read a quote from VG.
I could be
All right.
good start.
I think this was a firm idea for a show. It just, for some reason, people don't give a shit about sales so much. Like,
Yeah.
we throw them into Codename Morpheus just because, you know, that's kind of an all-encompassing show, but we tried to make this thing just about sales.
Yeah, we did it. So we did like the news. We
just
had
no
like
one
we have
cared.
Xbox sales.
Yeah. No one really just cared that much about it, which is fine. I mean, you know, we got a decent amount of views
I really
on
love
it.
that we use this background, by the way.
I think I found that on Google
I think you
Images
did.
somewhere.
You signed Ninja. We had this is when we were doing like everything at once, and this is when we were like dead. I remember playing this.
Overwhelming
Though.
ourselves quite.
I remember playing this though, and it was a lot of fun. Because it switched from 3D to 2D, and we're like, "What the fuck's going on?"
Nunchucks. Hold on. We got it. We got it both.
What's your circle do? You roll.
I roll.
I don't know what.
Is that David?
Jacob.
Oh, it's Jake. Yeah.
Mine's probably a dodge. Yours is probably a block. Come on, I think yours is Jake, face.
Yeah, it's a block. I have to hold it down.
Ready? We got a face, and we're gonna hit square at the same time. 3, 2, 1, go! Ha!
Planning things out. So let's look back down memory lane. You can push heavy objects.
I like some of the ones that we did. I mean, those are like the show types that we did, but I like some of the one-offs that we did, like when we did the shit game competition, and there was we went to Lamier Sculpture Park and did an entire thing on that. Just like was the last.
Just
one
look at like our thumbnail. We didn't show Skills Not Required was the series we used to do.
Yeah,
the Bloodborne. This is when like our thumbnails kind of became standard. I feel like that was good. That was a decent thumbnail. I think I went back and changed some of these. Now that I think about it, and put the font on there. We had John Lennon. Remember John Lennon?
Yeah, for Bloodborne.
100 subscriber giveaway.
What did we give away?
A gift card.
A gift card, right?
Yeah. God, this is so weird. My Mario solo stuff. Here we go. Let's watch this. This is our video setup from back in the day when we were in that room over there still. Good old garage band music. We feel like you need to do another one of these.
Yeah.
Because a lot has changed. This is pre-green screen on the background, too.
Yeah, when we had the laminate on the wall.
Yeah. Which is still there. You just can't see it.
Yeah, behind the green screen. I don't think that's the right address now, either. We'd have to add the STL to the end of it.
Yeah, well, you can't see it there. But yeah. I think it's funny because this shows how much you set up stuff and how much I'm just like, set up the electronic stuff.
A different video today. A lot of people, we've posted pictures on Instagram, social media.
How dark is that?
Yeah,
considering we have the lights going.
We look young, too. Is that just me?
You look young.
If you remember the first day we met,
I look the same.
Basically a fold-up table with my computer.
Oh, look, we're talking about this.
And then 2 microphones plugged into it.
Yep.
So let's get... This is when we did the crib style thing. Bow! I need to do some sort of cut.
Through all of our individual pieces. I don't know if you realize this, but we're actually just in Tom's basement. If you take a step in here...
Still in the basement.
Still there.
Still in the basement.
Thing number 1, you can see we got the lights here, lights there.
Still same light. Well, no, different lights now because those lights went out.
Yeah, the lights we have now are more powerful, which might explain the difference in lighting.
Yeah.
The reason you do that is the white light is diffused here. I'm probably really bright right now. The white light is diffused here because it's yellow, and it helps a lot with color correction if you have white light versus yellow light.
Little tip, fun editing tips with Keegan.
Yeah. I miss the editing tip things that you used to do.
Like twice.
We got Tom's computer, which we're gonna put notes on.
Oh, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Actually, do you still have that?
My wife has it now.
Yeah.
Microphone 2 plugged into the mixer.
R.I.P. yours.
Dude, that thing doesn't even function anymore.
I have my own spot, and then Jordan, and then if we have any guests,
We still have that mixer. It doesn't. We had weird audio issues with it though.
Yeah, I kept on having that little fuzzy thing.
Red Bull, of course. Audacity is what we recorded with.
and my Red Bull.
And my Red Bull.
Over here, I don't know if you can see me. Over here, we've got our
That was me
camera.
being
So
narcissistic. Can you see me?
Normal camcorder. I've had this camera for about 5 years now, maybe 6 years. Never failed me, other than when I forget to clean the car.
Same camera.
Same camera, same tripod. Well, we have that tripod still when we do the out and abouts. You have the same TV.
I'm playing Final Fantasy X.
So we got, how big's your TV time?
Remember when we bought all these? We were gonna do retro games. We don't do that anymore. I feel like we should do a retro game something.
We'll get back into that. I definitely want to get back into that. I think there needs to be more retro on the channel, but I think it's something we would do supplemental. I don't think it's necessarily something we would do as a standalone.
I'm gonna try and find one more, and then we're gonna move on to the game. But I feel like we need to show one more thing here. Okay, 2 more. We're gonna do this one because I'm laying in bed.
Are you gonna play so people will be able to see this or hear it at least, right?
Yes.
Okay. Because I'm like, this is gonna be really boring for everyone else if it's just us sat here watching my monitor screen.
Remember the getting to know? That was a thing we did.
That was good. I like those.
That was the first thing I think we recorded in this room because we set the green screen up where
Sideways.
you guys are now. It's basically where the camera is. We set it up towards the camera, so the camera would have been over there. Star Wars, look back, the bites. I mean, our views have pretty much stayed consistent throughout it. I think it's funny, getting to know ones is interesting. Our first live stream that took off was Star Wars,
Yeah.
1300.
That's when you hit the timing right with it.
And I think we did at the release of it, 600 here. Like, there's a 1 year anniversary.
I remember that.
This is when our videos start getting longer. Among the Sleep, I like how it's Ted is the thumbnail.
I don't think we ever put a real thumbnail on that.
Yeah.
That just happened to be the freeze frame that it was on. Because for a time there, I was trying to put in a bunch of random shit into our videos that I thought was funny. And then it just got like really fucking annoying having to do that every week. You have your
State
first
of the
Wizard
Unions.
World there.
Where? Oh, yeah. So we'll do these. These will be the last two.
Okay.
What is up, guys? Keegan with Level 2 Gaming here. You can see I'm literally just laying in bed watching TV.
And this was from July 22nd,
kind of
2015. We hit 150.
I just want to say thank you. We hit 150 subscribers today, so thank you guys very much for that. We're not doing any sort of giveaway with the hitting that milestone, but we just happen to be giving away something when we did hit that milestone.
We timed that beautifully.
Giveaway for Rocket League. If you haven't seen it,
that was when you were in California.
Description down below. But basically, there's a video that
Rocket League giveaway over.
A free copy of Rocket League on either Steam or PS4. One of my favorite games right now. Super
Played it last Sunday.
Still true, yeah.
Still going strong.
We're playing it for our channel. On Friday, we're gonna have our video out for Rocket League starting, and then we're gonna continue with the season. We played through a season, so it should be fun. Me and Jordan, but. Anyways, thanks again, guys, for hitting 150 subscribers. It really means a lot to us. We love each and every one of you.
I say the same thing. We love each and every one of you.
Enjoy this. I mean, this is a whole heck of a lot of fun to do. So I just want to say thanks, guys. And as always, welcome to the second level.
I don't remember where that came from. The welcome to the second level.
I think it was early.
Yeah, it was just an episode that happened.
Thing early.
Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
Blow the speakers.
Oh God! Oh God!
That was another intro.
Oh yeah, this one was Jordan. Dude, we had some good intros. So I'm gonna go back real quick to this intro. So getting him to shoot, if you look at this intro, there's a bullet that actually comes out. Do you see it? Do you see the little square?
I saw it.
I put that little square in there because I was like, I need something that looks like it comes out. But I was like, make that big boss so special. What's bigger boss than Bowser? And was it Solid Snake, I think?
Yeah.
And shooting. I was like, that makes no sense at all.
St. Louis Comic Con. So I will be walking
Beard.
Region 4 for 3 days. And I decided to make a little vlog about it. So I'm heading to there now. I'm driving to the train. So I'll catch you guys once I'm at the convention.
I still love making these vlog type videos of conventions.
They're fun.
They're so good.
This one I did by myself because you weren't there this year. This was the first year.
Yeah.
I think I did this pretty well because every time I was really good at making sure I vlogged in between. It was really weird the first day recording because people were looking at you.
It's the gaming part. I've been hanging out here probably the most. I played Dark Souls 3, and then another game I think was called Necropocalypse. Dark Souls means Zelda.
Jordan was jealous because I played Dark Souls before he did.
Because I'm right by the speakers. But played some Dark Souls 3, Necropocalypse. It's a lot of fun. Can't wait. Jordan's jealous because he hasn't not played.
There you go.
The game's not out until Tuesday as of recording because I'm recording this on Friday. So yeah, we'll see you guys.
I just like I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do next.
So I just got out of a panel talking about business here, and I'm finally going to show you guys what the floor looks like. So
I think I lied here.
To the big booth here.
I'm pretty sure I lied here.
Showed off. There's a lovely big. You can see behind me. Giant avatar booth. But I'm going to go head over to the big attraction here, just Doctor Who. And I'll show you that when I get there.
My friend texted me and I forgot to continue recording. Brilliant.
One of my favorite moments, let's see if I can find it here.
So the William Shatner's going to be there, the Doctors, David Tennant.
This one. So that's Tommy from Power Rangers, but this part right here.
Hat is always crooked.
I still have that hat. I don't know where it is though. So fun fact why I don't wear that hat anymore, because I had a couple people ask me. Is because it doesn't fit when I cut my hair. Because my hair is longer when I wore it. So, not there. It's actually shorter there, but it doesn't fit. It's like stretched out now.
You can break the stitches if you put it on the knee and then like crack it. That's what I have to do sometimes.
Right here.
Is this when the Beetlejuice and Joker show up?
Yeah, we did that, and then I went to the
Darth Vader in the background just randomly. Like. I'm in the way of it.
Yeah,
like,
duck
nope.
out of the way of your recording.
Then I went to gaming and kind of how to get started as a game in the gaming industry, so that was kind of cool. There's Beetlejuice here. You want to get in the vlog?
Vlog?
Yeah.
Sure, I like vlogs. Hey, hey.
This literally, I just saw him walking around. I was like, hey.
Level
Yeah.
2. Yes, I get it. Hi. Hey, everybody.
So, thank you guys. So yeah, we.
So there you go.
I'm gonna go back.
Awesome.
That was that.
Look
So-
back. Yeah, man, I mean, milestone-wise, I mean, obviously the first 100 subscribers was a big one for us. And then thinking about, like, getting the PSVR after that was a huge one.
I should have showed that one off, but I didn't.
That's fine. You know, having Jordan join, having Jordan leave.
Having Jordan leave, I think was. I'm not gonna, because we're still friends with Jordan, and that will always be the case. We're not gonna bash him, but that was probably the roughest time for our channel, because I think we both had a crisis, not a crisis, but we've had a moment of like, what is level 2? Because you said earlier that he brought so much to the table, and it's like, well, he's gone, and now what?
Yeah.
What are we? What is our voice? And I think that's where we started becoming who we are right now. And as much as that time sucked at the time, I think we now are better people because we had to go through that.
Yeah.
And
there was a lot of soul searching that went into like how do you continue a channel that's been working a particular way for a very long time. And I think you know, all in all, we figured it out okay.
Yeah, I think we came out on.
Thanks
on
to
that
you
side.
guys, obviously, for the support and everything to get us to where we are. But I think it took us a long time to figure out what our niches were, and we've chiseled them out pretty nicely right now. And
We've fucking carved a mountain a few times.
We've been chiseling for a long time. It's now a hill, but you know, it never ends, and that's good, and that gives you something to strive for and something to move forward to. 1,000 is nice, but it's nowhere near where we want to stop at. So, you know, we got to keep the train rolling and keep doing what we're doing. And, of course, you need to keep telling us what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what you want to see more of, what you want to see less of, because this is for you. We don't do this for us. I mean, we have fun doing it, but we don't do it for us. We do it for you and to hopefully enlighten your lives a little bit around the subjects that are lesser covered than they should be.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys dig it. So.
And any of you who are listening, because I realized I won't be able to watch the videos, if you head over to love2gamers.com, you will see the video in the background. You should be able to hear the audio for it. Cause
I'll leave the audio in. If it's poor, go and watch the video, or just skip past that part, although it's too late now. But there you go.
So
yeah.
But let's move on to the game. And do you remember the name of this? I can't remember. We got the names for it, but I can't remember what it's called.
Name that game.
Name that game.
Very simple.
Yeah. I thought it was something fancy because you like coming up with cool names.
I try.
So the way this works with this game is I have a game in mind that Tom has 20 questions, which I got to count on my fingers.
I can guess it before that, right?
Yes, you can guess it before that, but if you guess it and get it wrong, it's over.
I thought it was 10 questions. Is it 20?
It's 20.
I feel like 20 is excessive.
No, you said this last time. We argued about this last time, and you realized how much 20 questions wasn't.
Okay.
Because you didn't get Super Mario RPG.
All right, fuck.
So the way this works, and you guys can play at home, he has 20 questions. If you guess the game, let us know what question you got on. If you didn't guess the game, sorry. So without further ado, Tom.
To further explain this, last time I lost hard. So this time we'll see how it goes.
So I have this pulled up on my phone. Not gonna let you see it.
All right.
So question number 1.
Move this microphone closer to me.
Question number 1.
Go for it.
No, you're asking me the questions. Remember, it's yes or no.
Oh, yeah.
You forgot how to play.
Yeah, I did. Okay. What console did it release on?
It has to be yes or no.
Console/console.
Doesn't it have to be yes or no?
No, it just has to be singular. It can't be like it was this and this year and that and this year. Like it could just be like it released on bang bang bang. That's a close question.
Technically, it released on 2 consoles.
All right. Well,
Genesis and SNES.
Okay. So I'm in the 16-bit era.
It's a 3-day apart. So technically, it launched on the Genesis/Mega Drive first, and then SNES was second. Okay. 3 days later.
Okay. What genre is it?
I think these were yes and no questions. I don't remember this, but
it's not. This is watch the other one back. I swear to God, it's exactly the same.
I'm gonna look it up. We don't remember our own games.
A closed question is a question that has a singular answer. It doesn't have to be yes or no. It's commonly yes or no.
Wow. Yeah, use the closed question to name that game.
Yeah.
So what was the question?
What genre is it?
Oh, it's a good question.
It can only be one. Or, you know,
well, I mean,
a mixture.
It's kind of a mixture, so I wonder what they're going to classify this as.
What would you call it?
I would call it a platformer.
Okay.
So it's a platformer.
Platformer from the 16-bit era.
Yes. There's a lot of those.
Was it
That's
mascot-based?
Yes. That's 3.
You can, like, mark, like,
I've
a tally on it. You only have 10 of those, in case you didn't know.
Well, you know what? We're going real well. That's 3.
All right. So it's a 16-bit game platformer from that era. Is the main character humanistic or animalistic? Are they like humanoid or are they animaloid, if that's a word?
It's a mix of both, essentially. I mean, I would say more human than animal, though.
Okay.
If I had to put my money on it, you'll see why this
Was
is.
there any kind of corporate sponsorship involved?
Like,
is it a brand name game? Because, like, for example, and this is not my guess, but like Chester Cheetah made a game. Cool Spot was for 7-Up.
No.
No branding.
No.
Okay. Single player or multiplayer?
You're asking questions that this is... Oh, single. This doesn't have. I found genres,
Have you
too.
played this game? That's not a question, but you have. Okay.
7. I couldn't remember if it had multiplayer or not.
What is the main color that makes up the majority of the single-player sprite?
White.
Ooh. Okay. God, sorry, people listening at home. You have to understand I have to think a little bit here. So you have a platform, a 16-bit
I mean, if you want to do 10 questions, you got 3 more.
No, I mean, I might keep going. We'll see. I'm hoping I can get it by 10. You have a 16-bit platformer that's on the SNES and Genesis that is a mascot-type character that is not a sponsorship, and it's white primarily.
Yes. That is all. Everything you said there is correct.
Everything I said is correct?
Yes.
God, primarily white.
So it's not Mario.
Yeah, that's me done. Sorry.
Yeah. I thought about doing 2 Mario games in a row. I was like, I can't do that.
It's not Shinobi. It's not Mario. It's not Sonic. It's not Crash. Although that's not 16-bit anyway. It's not Alex Kidd. You said it's humanoid. Is the character a ghost?
No.
Okay. I was thinking if there was like a Casper the Friendly Ghost game or something.
No, that'd be part of a franchise.
That'd be. Oh yeah, corporate sponsorship.
But you could have still had ghosts without having Casper.
What type of clothing does the main character wear? Like,
I mean, I would say a T-shirt based on the image I'm looking at.
A white T-shirt.
I'd say a white T-shirt.
Can you add in the like if they're wearing like pants or shorts or anything? Or?
Yeah, he's wearing white pants.
White T-shirt and white pants.
Yeah.
The fuck game had like a purely white character. Whitey McWhiterson.
Nailed it.
Is that the name?
No.
That'd be great. Okay. Was it made in Japan or not England? Well, where was it made? How's that? Country. Take your time.
It tells me here. Hold on. I think it's U.S. made. Where was it made? It was made. You'd think that would be like one of the first things they have up here. America.
Okay.
American made.
How many entries were there in this series?
2 that I'm aware of on the main line.
On the main line?
Yeah, there might be. They might be in other things, but there's 2 main games.
Fuck, I feel like an idiot right now. I'm not going to get this one either, am I? Does the character use guns?
I believe so, but again, I'm gonna double. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I had to make sure it wasn't some sort of like gun-like thing, but it is indeed a gun. I've lost track of questions. Is that, I think it's 11?
I don't know. Listen back.
Yeah, because it was U.S. made and it was
U.S. made,
guns.
white pants, white shirt, 16-bit platformer with guns.
Yeah.
God, who had a fucking white T-shirt and white? Do they have any facial accessories? Like
No.
Sunglasses, hat, anything like that?
Nope, not as the base character. Like you can. I think they have them
At that?
They have them in other iterations of his character, but not in this game. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like in art, he might have had it, but in the game, he did not.
Gotcha.
I can't remember for sure, but I think there's some art that has him. No, maybe he didn't have any at all. Never mind, he didn't have any at all. I thought the box art had some.
How many words are in the title?
Let me see the official title. 2.
Fucking
Let me mark
hell,
this down.
This is so annoying. I'm like, this is some... God damn it.
You got 13 questions. You guys get it yet?
If you did, then fuck you. Okay, 2 things in there. Is any part of it related to Japanese culture? Like, is it like samurai this or...
No.
No, not at all.
No, it's definitely American. It's definitely a U.S. made thing.
Okay.
I don't even know if it released in Japan, to be honest.
God, I wonder if I have played this or not, because I'm trying to think of every game.
Yeah, it never released in Japan.
Okay.
Not
So-
that I mean that I'm going to give you that for free.
Can I ask who the publisher is or the developer?
Do you want developer or publisher?
I'll use 2 questions. Who is the developer?
Developer is Shiny Entertainment.
Who is the publisher?
Publisher was Playmates Interactive Entertainment.
Great. Had never heard of either of them. I was like, Konami, come on, give me something. Fuck. All right.
The next question is, are they still in business?
Probably not, I assume. It wasn't a good game.
It's a good question.
How well was it received? What score did it get when it released? Is that something you have access to?
I can find it real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
Reception. What score do you want?
Like the Metacritic, if there was a
I have
thing.
a game rankings
That's fine.
one, or I have a... I mean, it's an 80. So it's 81.175, or
So quite well.
publications are 8 to 8.5 is kind of the average on it. So yes, quite well.
What type of haircut does the main character have?
No hair. Bald.
Bald?
Bald.
The fuck, man? You got a white supremacist running around shooting people in a platform, and I don't know what it is.
I feel like you missed a very important thing I said earlier, but I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Is he a robot? I can't understand how there's an in there. Either he is or he isn't.
Well, he's in a robotic suit. So I don't know if he's the robot or if the suit is the robot. And you have last question. So you either got to guess at this one or not get it.
All right, so let's go through, guys. Let's
recap.
Let's recap.
So white supremacist.
White supremacist in a bodysuit that is robotic.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
16 gigabit game. It's a platformer that you have guns.
Mm-hmm.
And it was American made,
Mm-hmm.
never released in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
He has
That one was a freebie.
a white top and white shorts, or white pants.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember.
Bald.
Yeah, bald. Doesn't wear any facial stuff like glasses or anything like
Nope.
that. Oh my god.
You're going to kick yourself when I tell you.
Yeah, I am. I do it every time. I just
It was published by Playmates Interactive in North America, and in Europe this might help you. It's Virgin Interactive. I don't know if that helps at all.
It does actually a little.
And then Shiny Entertainment was the developer. I read the North American one and not the EU because I didn't think
That's
about
fine.
that.
No, I'll let it slide this time. Don't let it happen again.
It's good because you only got one question, so it won't happen again.
All right, so I am actually gonna ask one more question, but this might be opinion based. Did you say if you've played it or not?
I have played it.
You have played it. Okay. To you, what was the most standout feature of the game? Like, what's the thing you remember the most about it? Keep it short.
The animation style.
Animation style.
Yeah, you got to guess now. You're out of questions.
Animation style. See, I cannot think of a single game with a guy that is purely dressed in white, and I know that I'm going to kick myself in the ass as soon as you say it. I know Another World doesn't have that. I know Flashback doesn't have that. It's not. It can't be Metroid because A, that's a girl, and B, she's blonde, and C, she has a robot suit. To be fair, it's not Kirby or. I'm hoping it's not.
In my defense, I wouldn't have known it as a robotic suit if it wasn't for this article. I'm reading Wikipedia, by the way. It's like my main source.
Okay. This is probably way off.
If you get it, I'm gonna shit myself.
Kid Icarus?
No.
Okay.
It is Earthworm Jim.
Oh, fuck, no.
Earthworm Jim is a 1994 run-and-gun platforming video game developed by Shiny Entertainment featuring an earthworm named Jim in a robotic suit who battles evil. The game was released for Sega Genesis in 1994 and subsequently ported to a number of video game consoles. So that's why when you ask me if it's animal or humanoid, I was like, well, he's more human than animal, but he's technically an animal.
He's an animal in a robot suit.
Yeah.
He is an earthworm, quite literally. I imagine Mr. Clean going sideways.
But you can say he's bald. I don't know if he had glasses ever in art, but the gun, I was like, I can't remember if his gun was like a gun or for something funny.
It was like a plasma ray.
So the only reason I picked this game, a little story behind why I picked this game.
Okay, go ahead.
Was I watched I think it was Did You Know recently on Earthworm Jim.
Great game.
And I was like, oh, I totally forgot about that game. So I was like, this is a perfect game to have Tom because I feel like because clearly you know it. It's not like it's one you didn't know. But yeah, I enjoyed Earthworm Jim. You
That's
played
great.
Up?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Hard as fuck.
What would have made you guessed it? What would have been the thing to be like, that's the tip? Other than be like, is it a worm? Because you're not going to ask that question.
Well, if I said what type of animal was it, and you said it's a worm, I would have got it right off. But I feel like that almost would have been cheating at that point.
Yeah, also when you asked how many named words are in the title, I was like, is Earthworm one or two words? It's one word, by the way. His name's Earthworm.
Yeah, no, that's just one. I
also had to pull up the art here to make sure.
Here's the problem is, like, when I'm talking to you about it and I'm asking you the questions, I start forming an artistic vision in my head of what I think this game looks like without correlating it to stuff I already know.
Yeah.
So instead of, like, being, instead of imagining potentially something like that I used to play, I instead make up this image of Mr. Clean in my head playing Contra, basically, and I couldn't get off that image.
Yeah.
So I was just like, all right, well, fucking, I don't know. But yeah, that one is something that you guys should have got. That's just me being stupid. Like, I'd be disappointed.
I can't wait till you quiz me because I feel like I'm gonna be real dumb with these. Because I got the only other game we played is I got Donkey Kong Country, and I knew that right away because fucking Donkey Kong. To me, like. Again, it's really hard to pick games because I don't know what you've played, but I was like, Earthworm Jim was a big enough franchise.
It's a pretty popular franchise.
That he would know about it,
yeah, for
even
sure.
if he didn't play it.
Yeah, that was a good choice. That was a really good choice.
That was again my thought process behind it was a big enough franchise to know what was going on, but it may not have been one you know.
I give you props on the option.
So you're 0 for 2. You didn't get Super Mario RPG, and you didn't get Earthworm Jim.
No, I'm officially terrible at naming that game.
You are.
Hopefully you guys out there are better than me.
So,
all right, moving on. So I got a tale for you. It's not really a tale. It's not like I've been doing a lot of personal stuff recently, so I decided to bring it back to the game world a little bit since we had our 1,000 subscriber chit chat. That was more sort of personal, I suppose, than gamey.
You actually were like, I'm gonna do 1,000 subscribers.
I was gonna do it, and then you were like, I already changed mine to that, and I was like, fuck you. But
I did a personal one last week though.
The original one that I had in mind was just because I've been playing a few of them lately.
Because there's been quite a few of them.
Is classic game remakes, and I wanted to talk about that. More so have a discussion with you than just kind of harp on about it, because I don't really have much to say on the subject, but I just thought it would be a fun conversation to have, because I recently picked up 2 classic games in one day from the PS Store. They both released on the same day. One of them is one of my favorite games of all time, and the other one was a game that I always wanted to play and I never did. We tried to... Like, I had... my wife actually got V-Stock to order Night Trap, is one of the games, to the store until she realized that I didn't have a Sega CD to play it on.
Yeah.
But then we were going to order a Sega CD as well, just when we were trying to hunt down retro consoles. But the game came in, and I was super excited about it because I'd always seen it. My friend had it, so I've like actually watched it being played, but I never got to play it myself. And I just thought it was a really unique concept for a game. And
they have FMV, full motion video.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the originators of that idea in a game style. But then, of course, the other one, which actually is one of my favorite games ever, is The Bard's Tale. And The Bard's Tale is it's kind of like a Baldur's Gate style RPG, which a lot of people were really, really...
That's what I thought it was when you first uploaded it, and I watched it. As like, because I don't know. I mean, I'm not old enough for Baldur's Gate, but as like I knew that name. I've never heard of Bard's Tale though, and I was like, nope.
Yeah, so Bard's Tale has actually been around way longer than that, but the Bard's Tale that was released back on the console that I played it on, I can't even remember what console I played it on. I want to say it was PS2.
Yeah. See what I did there?
That one I did. I want to say it was like on PS2 or something. And in fact, I think I rebought it for PS2 because I wanted to play it again. And the thing about it is it's such a funny fucking game. Like, it's charming. It's like if Monty Python got to make a game. The voice acting was great. The actor now sadly has passed away, but they still use his voice from the original game for it. And it's just really quirky and funny. And the actual mechanics to it are wonderful too. So, you know, it was a big deal for me. And the fact that it was $10, I was like, fuck, like that's a remastered version. It's called technically the remastered and re-snarked version because there's a lot of snarky comments that go on in that game. But it's perfect humor for me because it's old English humor. And I've just always loved that game. Then I thought about all the other kind of stuff that's been released lately. Like Double Fine have been like re-releasing all of their classic games that were the old PC point and clicks like Full Throttle and Day of the Tentacle and all that kind of stuff. And of course we've had for years now them releasing HD remasters of things like Silent Hill and God of War and all this kind of stuff.
You're missing a big one.
Which one's that?
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. Yeah, that's a good call.
that's clearly that's the biggest.
I knew the answer to that question when I said, "What's that one?" But yeah, and then of course Jack and Daxter is getting a re-release and all this. Not Jack and Daxter, the other one, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper. But yeah, so they've been on this crazy kind of run recently, and I wanted to talk to you about it and just see kind of like, are you like pro that? Are you anti that? I mean, we've always said that there's when people say, oh, you can just play it here, or like, yes, you can, but it doesn't quite feel the same as having the original controller and having the original graphics and music and all that kind of stuff. Which is why we don't emulate it.
We don't emulate anything.
No, we have the retro console if we're playing a retro game. But I was thinking, like, you know, a game like Bard's Tale, the fact that we remastered that was wonderful because it plays so well on the PS4. But there are other games that I kind of would rather play the original version just because I get a better nostalgic feel from doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, playing the new Crash I'm sure is wonderful, but there's nothing quite like playing the old Crash and playing it the way it was supposed to be played with the right controller that was made for the game, or, you know, that the game was made for, and that kind of stuff. So my thought process to you was like, how do you feel about that? Do you like all these remasters? Do you prefer to play them on the original consoles? Do you think they're good for business? Do you think they're lazy? Like, is it like the Hollywood cycle of like, let's just release the same fucking movie 12 times over until
you mean Fast and Furious?
Well, not just that, but just like, you know, there's so many Hollywood remakes as well right now alongside games. Are we running out of ideas? Like, why are we doing this? Like,
my take on it is there's two ways to think about this. Way number one is the young generation that did not necessarily grow up with those consoles are now getting to see where games came from, but in a format they're familiar with. So, I mean, ask anybody who's probably my brother's age or younger. My brother's 18 for reference. Probably does not know Uncharted as Crash Bandicoot. Or Uncharted. Doesn't know Naughty Dog as Crash Bandicoot. They know him as Uncharted. Well, I knew Naughty Dog as Crash Bandicoot. And then the fact that they did Uncharted is completely like mind-boggling. Granted, it's probably a completely different team, but that brand name.
Yeah.
And it's mind-boggling that's that's them. And I think it's really cool from a historic standpoint of like, this company came from here. This is what they started out as. They started out as the Crash dude. I remember I've said it before, but the commercials with him yelling at Nintendo's corporate office. Like, I love those commercials. Even as somebody who didn't like PlayStation, I remember those commercials and I love those commercials. And I was like, who the hell is this guy? I also was like, who the fuck is this guy?
But is that like a nostalgia factor though? Because you link those feelings to like those commercials that were also like made in the 90s or whatever.
Yes.
And like that's what makes you rather do it that way? Or are you just like, are you more so happy that the fact that your brother gets to play like a prime version of that game?
To me, it's just the fact that he will probably get to play it. Because let's be honest, the majority of people do not own every single console that's been in existence. They own one console. Most people trade it in when the new one comes out and goes on. And that's why the big thing with this generation when it first launched was backwards compatibility. Is you have this library of games, and then you get a new system. You're like, well, I have no games anymore. And this I feel like it was the first generation when people were like, do I really want to trade in my console to get the next one? Because my games don't come with me.
And a lot of that is the digital market too, because like, you know, if PlayStation 5 comes out and they don't let me pull the fucking million games that I have from PS4, then I'm never getting rid of my PS4. Yeah. Because even though I had a similar case with that with PS3, I had a small hard drive, so I bought most of my stuff physically, so it wasn't a big deal for me. But then when they started, again, releasing these classic games on the PS3, like Beyond Two Souls, and like they did a remake of The Last of Us with like high-definition graphics and everything. And so to an extent, I'm grateful that they do these things for those of us that have lost their consoles on the way. But I kind of worry that if they keep doing it, then they're just going to keep having to make, like, now you can get Crash Bandicoot in 4K or whatever it is, you know. Yeah. My other thought on it was pricing, because like, you know, we were at Indie PopCon recently and I saw a copy of Conker's Bad Fur Day for like $70, which to me was like, whoa, like I've never seen it that cheap before. Yeah. There's usually $100 bare minimum, and I think it's just because it's like a ratty cartridge with no box, but and I wish I fucking picked it up now, to be honest, but you know, that's in the rare replay.
Yeah, this is on rare replay.
That's again another remaster of a classic game. But you know, I got priced out really of buying that game because I do not want to spend $100 on a game that we're going to play like once in a stream or a funny video and never play it for a while after. So like, how does that?
I think a lot of it is the nostalgia factor. Like for me, if Nintendo came out and said Mario 64 is going to be on the Switch digital version, I probably wouldn't buy it. I mean, okay, I wouldn't say I wouldn't buy it. I'd probably buy it, but I probably would play the N64 version more because I'm used to that controller. That's what I know. Versus, again, if I was a little kid that never played it at launch, this is super cool. Look how well it did on DS. And I guarantee a lot of those people didn't play the original Mario 64 version. And price, I think price, to me, the $30 and lower, if it's just an HD remaster. Crash Bandicoot, I gave a little bit. They were 40, but I give them a little bit more leniency because they took the math of the original game and rebuilt the game so the physics were correct and all that kind of stuff.
And it was 3 games.
Yeah, so I have more leniency with that. But if they just go in and say, "Hey, we're just going to up-res the graphics, we're going to do this," and I'm sure that's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I would say $20 or less is what I would pay for a game. Anything above that, I feel like is price gouging. I feel like it's not fair to the consumer. It feels like a money grab. Getting back to the first question of kind of my stance on it is I like that they exist, but I also wish I don't want big companies working on them. I want them to do new IPs, come up with new things, and that's kind of how I feel right now with Assassin's Creed. I guarantee we're not that far away from Assassin's Creed like collection to happen. The Ezio collection, I think, is already out.
Yeah,
like that's a thing. But I'm sure at some point they're going to be like, here's 5 Assassin's Creed games for $60 if you haven't gotten them already on the next generation or whatever it may be.
Like the BioShock collection.
And I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, I'm tired of this. Like, come up with something new. Don't rehash what you've been doing. If you are the main developer on it, do not rehash what you're doing. If you get some third-party studio to work on it, then it becomes a question of, is it worth picking up because it's not the main developer doing it, but I also don't want the main developer doing it because I want them to work on new IPs, kind of like Naughty Dog.
I'd like the original developer to have a say in what's going on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with a lot of instances of this type of situation, if you hand over the IP to a different company, then
well, look what happened to Crash. Crash kind of went pretty quickly after Naughty Dog got rid of them.
Yeah.
Like
so it's a trust thing.
Yeah, it's also really weird from the standpoint that like picture. I'm gonna use Naughty Dog as a prime example because they are perfect of a team that works on a game maybe 3, 4, 5 times, and then after that it's done.
Yeah.
And so they did 3 Crashes. They did how many of, because they worked on Sly Cooper, right? Was that them, or did they do?
I don't remember.
I can't remember if they did Sly Cooper. There's another platformer they did after that. I want to say it's Sly Cooper, but I could be wrong. They did Last of Us. Last of Us 2 is coming. Uncharted. They've done the Uncharted series now.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things. Like, how far can you run with that?
Like spread your wings a little bit and let someone else handle the dirty work. But
And even if it's not a mainline game, like Crash Team Racing is, in my opinion, one of the best racing games outside of Mario Kart. Like, Mario Kart is the definitive edition of it, but
Diddy Kong Racing was pretty.
Diddy Kong was pretty good too. I love Diddy Kong Racing, but I don't know. It's one of those things too. It's also based on the era and all that kind of stuff. But personally, I'm more likely to buy a new game with a new IP than buy a remaster of something I've already played. But I'm going to buy a original copy of that game because I'm going to remember playing that game with said controller, with said console and all that kind of stuff. Granted, like you said, if it's priced too much, I'm not going to.
Yeah, and that's the balance that they have to walk.
My phone keeps vibrating. I don't know why.
I think it's my phone actually.
Is it your phone?
Yeah.
Somebody's phone keeps vibrating. I don't know why.
What the fuck is going on over here?
Anyways.
I don't even like. There's like nothing going on there. It could be that it's disconnecting.
Oh, that could be it.
I'll just unplug it. It doesn't matter. So yeah, I mean, basically, the way that I've kind of been looking at it is from like a rarity factor as well, in terms of like
if it's
is it hard to get?
If it's Mother 3, or Earthbound 3.
Yeah.
Right? No, Earthbound. Whatever the one that's super expensive is. I think it's Earthbound.
Right.
Whatever's Mother 3 in Japan. If it's like $200 to get, I'm not going to do that. I'm gonna get a digital version of it or get a remaster version of it or whatever. Or if it's a game that, because part of me is like, it depends on the game as well. So if it's a game that I knew had control issues, if they fix those,
well, that's the thing, is a lot of the newer games let you do the old control scheme or a newer version of the control scheme, like Resident Evil, for example.
Because those controllers...
They had the tank controls. They were like, if you want to play like a tank, you can do that, which is, for a lot of people, it's part of the nostalgia. But we also have like Resident Evil 4 controls if you prefer to just run around and actually be able to control.
Because you have to remember, as part of it too, when these games were made back in the day with the controllers, they... Kind of like we talked about on VR yesterday, they were in the early stages of understanding how the controller works, and they like the N64 didn't have a DualShock, didn't have 2 joysticks, like
GoldenEye with those fucking camera buttons.
If they released GoldenEye, that's a good example.
Did actually remaster GoldenEye,
if they released GoldenEye on the Switch, where I could use 2 joysticks, all for it. Yeah. Because have you tried to go back and play with the C buttons?
I have. I've also played the remaster they did for like PS3 or 4 or whatever, which was like, it was okay.
Yeah, that doesn't belong on a PlayStation console.
No, and also it just wasn't much fun to begin with. But I think again, a lot of that is like there is this kind of what do they call it when you like look back on something with nostalgia, but it's actually
nostalgia strings,
like tinted glasses or whatever, rose tinted glasses, and it's something that you thought was way better than it actually is when you get a hold of it. Mm-hmm. Like with Bard's Tale, I was worried about that. I thought, man, like I remember loving this game, but I've also been so let down by some of these other classics. Like I played Parappa the Rapper, I was like, I fucking hate this.
Well, that's like when we played the Tony Hawk game. We technically played Tony Hawk Times 2, which is a remake of Tony Hawk, the original and second one, plus some bonus levels. And that is essentially it is a remake of that. But I would probably more likely play that than I would the original Tony Hawk for 2 reasons. One, graphically, it's a lot nicer looking, and the controls are a lot nicer.
If someone would come along and make a Jaws Unleashed remake with good
controls,
fucking controls and stuff, then I'd be all about that, because those controls were miserable playing that.
Because it's really fun to go back to a game and be like, it's exactly what you remember. Like when we played Finding Nemo, it's exactly what I remember it being. When we played Tony Hawk, it's exactly what I remember it being. When it was Mario 64, it's exactly. I went back to Wave Race recently when I got that, and I suck. Like I used to be able to just own in that game. I was like, oh, I'm so good at. And again, I think part of it is obviously physics have changed in games. The games become more sophisticated, can do way more things, and you're so used to that when you go back to the old versions, like whoa.
Very kind of.
But I really like the games like Day of the Tentacle that you go between the two. I really like that, giving you the option.
That was a great idea, to allow you to go in and out of the original to the new
Halo,
one.
The Halo Remastered does that as well, the Master Chief Collection. So Which is really cool to see, especially on the Master Chief Collection, where you can go between the original graphics, and you're like, there's nothing here, and then you're like, oh, there's lights and other things going on. Like, this is so cool. So, for me personally, it all comes down to money, and it all comes down to how well that game actually holds up, which you won't know until you buy it.
Yeah.
But
well, that's where the prices comes in, isn't it? It's like you know, you have to price it reasonably so that even if I don't get the full experience that I wanted out of it, as long as I get the nostalgia hit, then I won't feel so mad about it. Like if Bard's Tale sucked, I'd be like, so what? I wasted $10.
Yeah.
But
if you paid $40 for it,
yeah. No, if I paid $40, I'd feel very differently. And it turns out it's wonderful. So I'm really happy about that. But like even like with your the game that we played, like Earthworm Jim, deserves some kind of a HD remaster.
It had one on 360, I believe.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But those are the types of things, like those games, like Banjos and the stuff that was considered to be classic, like if you could remaster those with better graphics, better control schemes, and bring that story, that tale to a new audience and that gameplay to a new audience, then it was
remastered on PS3 and Xbox 360 last generation.
Yeah, I missed that, but that's great. Like that's what I want to see. I really want them to remaster Road Rash, because Road Rash is one of my favorite games ever. It's a motorcycle game where you fight each other, but there's like rivalries and stuff. So like actually playing the game was kind of dull because the maps and everything were just really like you would be racing, but for what felt like, and again I was a child, but what felt like 20 minutes per race, and you would just be like zooming around, like chaining people in the face as you passed them, kicking people off their bike and stuff. It was so much fun, like building up rivalries with other riders. But they released like a couple sequels. They tried to do like a 64 version of it, and then it just went downhill.
Well, what's weird for me is I think partially because I'm younger. Like I said, N64 is kind of the era that I'm like, that's where I started gaming. And there's very few games that I played from that era that I'm like, don't play well, other than, like you said, GoldenEye, I think would be one prime example. But everything else, I'm like,
still plays
the graphics are good enough at this point that I know what I'm getting into, and it controls relatively okay. I think it's more, and this could be just me thinking this, but Sony did the 3D thing more than Nintendo because power and obviously
Shadows
space.
of Colossus in 3D was great, actually.
So I think Sony has a bigger opportunity for remastering, and Microsoft potentially will have a bigger opportunity for remastering than Nintendo.
Right.
Because Nintendo's known for art styles and known for that kind of thing.
Their games don't necessarily need the graphical overhaul.
They don't go for realism. So that's the other thing, is if it's a game that's looking for realism, then it makes a difference. I was super excited when Crash came out. I still haven't bought it, but I'm going to on some sale at some point to pick it up. But I also didn't play those much as a kid because I didn't own them. So it'd be me playing for the first time. So that's where I'm kind of like, well, it's worth it because I didn't play them before. But when I did play it in the hotel room, I've told the story before, I had a lot of fun with it. So it's weird nostalgia because it's not quite the same nostalgia, but it's like, I want to play these games. And I'm fine with those kind of remasters. And you can't be like, this is a game a lot of people didn't play, otherwise they wouldn't be remastering it.
Right.
So
true.
that's kind of my take on it.
Some games deserve that though. Like they it was an unfair launch period. It's a game that grew with time. Like there's a lot of games that don't necessarily sit with people right away, and they become cult classics later when people discover them and go back to them. So some of those do deserve to have remasters. But even like right now, I think like everyone, like I know they had the Black Mesa project where they worked on doing a full-bodied, beautiful remaster of the Half-Life games. And they were, just giving it like extra sun waves and things like that, light rays and stuff. But it came out beautiful. So like that type of thing, like sorry guys, we may never see Half-Life 3. So at very least, like remaster.
Valve announced a new game.
Did they?
Yeah.
Was it Half-Life 3?
It's a card game.
Fuck that then. So, but remastering those types of games, like those are true classics of the genre, and also true classics of video games in general. So yeah, I like it. I like it also when they do stuff like Tetris, Ultra Tetris or whatever, where they take the original. There's still always a classic game mode in there, but they also like add to it, like with the arcadey modes and stuff. So I thought it was a fun conversation to have. And I'd love to know how you guys feel about it. Like, how do you feel about these remasters that have been hitting the shelves left, right, and center? Are you happy about it? Would you rather play it on a vintage console that you own, or that
I think if they kept the original version, I think it comes down for me. If they kept the original version in there, that you can play it that way, fine. And then if they update, like Final Fantasy VII is going to have a whole new combat system. People are pissed because like that's not what I remember. It probably may not have been a great combat system, but that's how you remember the game.
As long as it's turn-based, I'll be all right with it. But
we'll see.
But like, even when they give away free ones, like that one NHL game that gave you a free copy of NHL 94, it was like, that's genius. That's fucking genius. Like doing that. There was a Prince of Persia game that I think it was Sands of Time or one of the later ones that gave away the original Prince of Persia. I'm like, that's a really good way to introduce people to these sort of
to the history of this game.
Games. Yeah, so the history.
I mean, that's what I said. A lot of my first point was basically there's a lot of people that don't understand, because think about a gamer now is on Final Fantasy 15. Is on Uncharted 4, is on, what other numbers do we have out there? Assassin's
Resident
Creed.
Evil 7.
Yeah, Resident Evil 7, Assassin's Creed. They're not numbered, but Assassin's Creed, we're on
Origins,
7th or 8th iteration of it. They don't know where these franchises came from, and I want them to understand, because a lot of times you can judge a game, like we joked, we've never heard of Nidhogg, but we played Nidhogg 2. And it's like, I don't know Nidhogg, and people were pissed because Nidhogg 2 apparently wasn't as good as Nidhogg 1, but I had a great time with it because I had no preconceived notions of what it was supposed to be. And I feel like that's kind of a thing we're dealing with now is younger generations are halfway through these franchises, and they're like, they don't have any sort of concept of what it came from, and understanding, like when you criticize a game, like, yeah, but they changed this and this and this. You're allowed to criticize any game, any sort of media, it's fair game. But understanding where it comes from, I think you get a better understanding of where they're at. And that's true with anything in life. If you see where somebody's person, thing, whatever it may be, where it started, and then where it's at, you get a better understanding of that thing.
All the way from throwing a rock at a crab to sitting here and having our 1,000 subscriber podcast.
Sure.
Ties it up nicely.
Yes.
So thank you so much for paying attention to the podcast today. Mucho gracias for the 1,000 subscribers. We love you so much for that.
Can we go to 1,000 Faces and be like, hey, 1,000 Faces, we got 1,000 subs. What are you doing?
We could, they probably have way more than that. But
they're not on YouTube. They just had an Instagram, I think.
We are genuinely so grateful for everything that you've given us so far, and we will continue to bring you the best of everything we can. We are actively hunting down indie developers, trying to get games that you've never seen before for trailers, and for gameplay to get recorded for games that you've never seen before, so that we can add more to the indie please add details sort of genre. And then of course with VR, we're actively working really hard to try and get those experiences first and bring them to you first as well, have good content around those. You guys paid for that headset, so we are going to give you every ounce we can out of it. And then of course, as far as this and us and right now, we're going to be doing this for a long time. So this is kind of, I mean, we've said it before, but this is the meta podcast where it's just like, it's weird to see how far we've come and see where we're going, and it's because of them. Yep. So that's all I really got to say. So thank all 1,000 of you for listening, and as always, welcome to the second level. Bye.
It ain't no game, but they saying welcome to the second level.